Hi everyone, it's Holly and I'm back with another weekly wrap up and I'm trying to do this really fast. Okay, so I have read 2 books since my last wrap up. I haven't really picked up anything in the last couple days. I don't know why. I don't think I'm in a slump. So I did, there was like a sticker on this book and it's still like sticky. I did finish The Ring and the Crown by Melissa De La Cruz. I gave this 2 stars. Oh, I really didn't like it. And I think it was made worse by the fact that I kept putting it off because I thought I was going to really like it. I did something different with my hair and I feel like this side of my hair is like flat and this side of my hair is like super bouncy, curly waves. If it looks weird, I'm sorry. Anyways, yeah, I just found this really disappointing. I thought about doing a full video review on it, and I mean, if you want one, let me know and I'll film it. I'm just so afraid it's just going to come off as completely negative, and I don't mind giving negative reviews, but I'm just afraid it would be all negative, and I don't want to like book bash. And I have read Melissa De La Cruz in the past, and I've liked her books in the past, so I don't know. I think this one just wasn't for me. I will say this book, it doesn't really read like, I think I said this in my wrap up last week, it doesn't read like YA, but it also doesn't read like a book with a lot of plot and action. It's more day in the life stuff, and even when there is action, it's very quick and it doesn't have any like payoff to it. Like, I kept waiting for something big to happen, and even the big things weren't that big of a deal. You're really just following these characters around, and that can be an interesting story, but those characters have to be pretty intriguing or different or interesting, and I didn't really even like many of the characters in here. I will say, if you've read it, I liked Wolf. He was probably my favorite character. I wish we had gotten more of him, and I did like Ronan most of the time. Sometimes she got on my nerves a little bit. I think there's a lot of like moral ambiguity in this story, and I'm generally not a fan of that. Yeah, it's just a personal thing. I don't need characters to be like completely good or completely bad, but when they're just like kind of mean people but think that they're great people, that bothers me. I'd rather you be mean and evil and rejoice in it, and then like have a few like goodish characteristics. And I didn't think the world was as fleshed out as I would have wanted it to be. I think if you know less about historical times, then you might enjoy it more, but I know a decent amount about the time period that this takes place in and before it, and so it didn't, I don't know, it didn't really pay off for me in that way, because this is kind of like an alternative history story. If you're looking for alternative history with magic, I would suggest The Cahill Witch Chronicles by Jessica Spotswood, even though I've only read the first book, over this one, personally. I do know this is going to be a series. I don't know how many books. I do not plan on continuing with it. I may someday, once all the books are out, look up spoilers to see what happens to like Wolf and Ronan and maybe some of the other characters, but I don't care enough to definitely buy them. I know the next book doesn't have a cover yet. I'm sure it'll be gorgeous because this one's beautiful. I don't plan on getting rid of this because, like I said, it's a beautiful cover and I like it. Also, I did read the synopsis for the second book, which if you have not read this, don't read the synopsis. It'll spoil it for you. But there's a lot of things, because I thought maybe like, oh, well, if the synopsis is really intriguing, maybe I would consider giving it a chance. But it has a lot of the plot points that rub me the wrong way, and it looks like things are going to happen to characters I actually enjoy that will upset me, so I'm going to stay away from it. The other book I read was Bound by Flames by Janine Frost. I did just buy this. I like picked it up at Target, and it came out at the end of January. This is the 3rd book in the Night Prince series by her. This is a spin-off of her Night Huntress books, which followed Cat and Bones and finished last year, and this follows Vlad, who's kind of like the inspiration for Dracula, and a woman named Layla, and I do really enjoy their stories. I gave 4 stars. Originally this was going to be the last book in the series, but Janine Frost decided to extend it to 4 books because she had more story to tell, and I totally see that. She resolved enough things in here, but there's definitely enough unresolved things for a 4th book, and it doesn't feel like grasping for another book. There's also other reasons I feel like that's not what she's doing. I do kind of wish I had reread the first 2 books, especially since romances, and this is a paranormal romance, I typically read really fast. I mean, I read everything fast, who are we kidding? But romance especially, I can burn through one in a day. Just because I felt like I had forgotten a lot of things, mostly character relationship things. But she did a fairly good job of like weaving that in, so I was able to get it eventually. It just took a little while to get back into the world. I did enjoy it. I like Layla. I like Vlad. I do wish that this book was told in 3rd person, especially as we've gotten farther into the series, just so we can spend more time in Vlad's head, just so I can know more about what he's going through. And he's a very closed off character, so you already have this, in addition to not being able to get in his head, you have the added difficulty of Layla not being able to read him very well, and she's the one telling you everything. But I love it. I love Janine Frost. I think she's an amazing author, and she writes some great paranormal that kind of straddle the line of being kind of over the top, but having good, serious content. I will say, I said this in my written review, which should be going up soon, because I've been thinking about this more and more. I would stay away from the Night Prince books if like rape is a trigger for you. I don't remember it being a huge thing in the previous books, but Vlad as a child was in prison and he was tortured and raped, and I don't think that's a spoiler, but it's not like horribly described from what I can remember in the previous books, but it is mentioned several times. And then in this book you have that, plus you do have like basically a rape scene, and it's long and very difficult to read, and I can read stuff like that without it generally bothering me. So if that's like a trigger for you or something you try to avoid, I would stay away from these. I do not remember the Night Huntress books having anything like that, but I wouldn't promise that. So yeah, just a quick warning. But this is a fun romance, and I'm so sad I have to wait a whole nother year to spend some more time with Layla and Vlad. Those are the only 2 books I've read. Like I said before, I'm not even reading anything right now. Today I am supposed to get an order from Barnes & Noble, so I may start reading one of those books. So thank you so much for watching. Bye!